One of the things we're constantly looking at is how can we automate processes within an office, right? So we saw, it was actually an experience I learned from going to my gym, and I had been going in for I've been there for a while, but I was in about 15 days into the month, and they stopped me at the front and they went, hey, sorry, your payment from the first, it declined. We need to get a new card. And I remember like scrambling, like, oh, I had fraud on my Amex, let me get you my new card. I mean, there's money on the account, and you're this awkward, and I had this epiphany. Oh my gosh, this is how a patient feels, right? They have this awkward feeling, and whether they have money or don't, or their card was stolen. I just actually today got an alert, someone trying to run transactions on my card, it's stolen, right? I gotta get a new one. Now everything that has a recurring payment, I'm gonna have to switch, right? Well, with Fortis, we send an email out to the patient, and we auto collect that payment, right? They can pay right from home, their phone, and they can even say, do you want to use this card going forward? They check that box, we add that card on file, update the recurring automatically.
Right.
So over the last 12 months, we looked at the system's auto collected $306,000 in payments for offices. This is something they never had to lift a finger, they never had to talk to the patient, they avoided that awkward conversation. Because I remember feeling so awkward at the gym, I was like, oh my gosh, we need to remove this barrier for an office.
And the other piece too is that when patients are in treatment plans, there's so much more ease when you're able to set them up on a recurring payment from the get-go, going forward. Because what will happen is they won't put their health first if they're thinking about the money all the time. So if they just know it's going to be X amount, it's going to come out on the first every month, I can plan for that. But if they don't, and they're coming like at time of service and paying, and the doctor recommends that they come several times a week because they've got this inflammation and they need to calm the symptoms and things like that, all of a sudden they start hearing what the doctor's recommending, and instead of following that, they start thinking, I can't afford that.
Right.
When really it's okay. We can work with you. We can work it out to make sure that it's something that you can do. But let's remember what this is really, how valuable your health is.
Right.
And how, let's find a solution that works for you without you having to get in your own way. So it really does eliminate so much. And then the ease of being able to just skip a payment or being able to, just move that payment that one time. So a patient calls and they say, like, I'm due on the 1st, but I can't do it this time. Can I do it on the 3rd? Sure, no problem. Because I don't have to think back on the 3rd. I got to put a note in, run their card on the 3rd. Nope, I don't have to do that. It's a simple one click, and now it's taken care of.
The payment's moved. Most other systems that do recurrings, if the patient's payment's on the 1st and they say, can we move it to Friday the 5th? I get paid on Friday the 5th. They have to delete the current care plan. They have to set up a one-time payment to run on the 5th. But because, they can't set up multiple recurrings in that system like you can in Fortis, they set up the one payment on the 5th. Then they have to set a calendar reminder that on the 5th or 6th, they need to go reset up the recurrings on the 1st. How much time did they just spend to move one payment that with one click you can do in Fortis, right? And it's really, the goal is that efficiency. I don't want you worried about all these things that aren't making the office money or bringing in new patients or helping patients, right? You're taking time away from loving on those patients, which is really your job, right? We have a system that can auto-collect it, all for nominally next to nothing compared to what you're paying your staff.
Right. And the big thing too is just the growth. Like, you take away the ceiling. Like, there is a ceiling when you're doing systems a certain way. So now you virtualize that and you automate it, right? And now that ceiling is gone because now you're able to take those calls and take those patients and help those people without that feeling of, we can't add on one more. We can't do it. Like, physically, I don't have time to be able to do another new patient tour. Like, no, that's never crossing your mind because all of a sudden you're seeing that much more volume. You're helping that many more people, but you feel so much more relaxed and you feel so much like just, okay, cool, let's bring it on, let's do this. Whereas before you're just chaotic, like there's no way.
And we're constantly coming up with new ways, and we're trying to, and that's almost my full-time job, right, is the product and the vision of the product and how can we automate more things in the office, right? So we're coming out with a thing called Quick Invoices, which you'll see in about 2 weeks, where you can just go to a patient file. We already have their email from the EHR that pulls over. You're going to be able to just put a couple line items, some comments, and a dollar amount, and email it right to the patient.
Boom.
And they can click a link to pay, right?
That would be
so
awesome.
No declined payment. Maybe their balance comes in from their insurance, right? And they owe a balance. And you want to email it to them now. You don't want to wait for them to get their statement. They get their statement, they get their second statement. Okay, I'm going to write a check, put a stamp in the mail. Oh, it gets whatever the case is, right? Nope. You can just send an invoice right to the patient. They get it, they pay. The money comes right away because we know who the patient is. Guess what? It posts back to the EHR.
That's awesome.
Right? So we're really automating that. And then another new feature I know you'll love is custom reporting.
Oh, yeah.
So we're completely revamping the reporting. It's actually in there now under beta. And what you can do is select columns. So every single column you can report on in the system. And you can move columns around. You can create custom reports. So, hey, I want to see a monthly report, a daily report, these weekly reports, really whatever you want, right? And then we're going to allow you to save them. You can share them with other users or staff members in the office. And then you're going to be able to schedule them. So once you save it and schedule it, you don't have to go and recreate it or even click each time. You can email it right to yourself. Or we have a new messages, a mailbox system right in the system, and you can send it right to your mailbox. So when you come in the morning, the report's sitting there. Or if you want it at 5 p.m., hey, I want it every night at 5 p.m. You're going to be able to schedule that.
That's awesome. I'm actually really excited for that because right now we're, I like this, but let's delete this column, this column, this column. So now it's just that much more steps that are eliminated. So
and all that is time, and that time equals money, and that money equals time you're not spending growing the office or putting it into the office, right?
Right.
You're just it's non-revenue producing time.